coronavirus disease 2019. It was confirmed to have spread in Southeast Asia when a 61-year-old woman from Wuhan was tested positive in Thailand, making it the first country except China to have reported a case. Southeast Asia is among the first regions that was affected by this pandemic since January till date. The COVID-19 pandemic has fundamentally changed the world as we know it. The outbreak pushed consumers out of their normal routines. Consumers' behavior, attitude, purchasing habits are changing. One of the effects of these changes in consumers' behavior is a rise in digital services. These changes are expected to continue in long run.
Depending on which side of the tech industry they exist, the coronavirus outbreak is either a boon or the bane of a company's business. As companies urge their employees to work from home, those employees turn to apps like Zoom for video conferencing and Slack for communication. And as you can imagine, Zoom and Slack are doing quite well now. Likewise, as people opt to or are forced to stay home, they may turn to delivery services like DoorDash, Postmates, and Instacart to get food and supplies without having to risk exposing themselves. These tech companies also continue to thrive.
Contact with seller and customers, consumers now prefer to choose online transactions rather than cash transactions. During the lockdown, people now spend more time in social medias and tend to do more online purchasing via many social platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Shopee, Amazon, etc. Besides that, most of the country's government has imposed not to do dining in restaurants. So, people in food industries have started using digital services to promote their business and continue operating via many online platforms such as GrabFood, Foodpanda, etc. Other than that, most of the education institutions have stopped doing face-to-face learnings and start adapting new normal, which is online learning. This has caused increase in digital service. Most of the companies have shifted working from home, which caused many staffs and workers use digital services like online platforms such as Google Meet, Zoom, etc. to have an active communication in between workers within the work time.
The news headlines for effect of COVID-19 on digitalization are:
the COVID-19 lockdown in various countries has resulted in an unmatched downfall of economic activities. Also, the change in consumer behavior has forced the businesses to adopt digital measures in order to make up for the shortfall of revenue. According to a report by Economy SEA 2020, which focuses on Southeast Asia's 6 largest economies, reveals that the region's internet economy has increased by 100 billion. The report also shows growth in e-commerce platforms, food delivery apps, online media and digital financial services as people avoid non-essential public interactions. During the MCO period in Malaysia, online shopping increased by 52% and online food delivery increased by 61%. On the first day of MCO, food delivery apps witnessed a 30% increase in orders. The Malaysian Digital Economy Corporation (MDEC) has also projected a 20% growth for e-commerce in 2020.
successful business must aware on how to satisfy their consumer wants and needs. However, the implementation of lockdown, movement control order, and social distancing have a significant effect on the consumer behavior. Due to that, business sector have to adapt with the digital economy to sustain their business by using e-commerce platform and services. Our lifestyle as a consumer has also forced to change dramatically. Nowadays, we also staying at home compared to our previous lifestyle. So, we are not going out to the store regularly to make a face-to-face purchase. As what has been mentioned in the news, the positive growth in digital economy can be seen clearly as the pandemic COVID-19 has pushed the consumer to make an online transaction and digital payment, which is the new trend of the consumer spending. Even though pandemic COVID-19 has affected our previous lifestyle, it doesn't stop us as a consumer to achieve our needs and wants, as the assistance of digital economy help us as the consumer and the businesses to connect with each other to perform a daily transaction. The pandemic COVID-19 has drove a lot of decision making among consumers across the Southeast Asia by shifting towards the digital consumption. They prefer to use e-commerce, online financial services, and also food delivery. Some of the discovery from 2020 report have mentioned that small and medium-sized businesses have a positive response towards digital financing services such as online payments. Due to that, an additional of 40 million new internet users arrived in the Southeast Asia country during this era of pandemic. In addition, even though schools and universities have been ordered to close during this pandemic, teaching and learning process can be carried out as usual, but with a new style, which is online learning. Furthermore, the existence of digital economy also helps the health sector to resume their services as usual. For example, health consultation can be done through online, which they call telemedicine. Therefore, digital technology enables us to perform our daily life activity without being disrupted by the pandemic COVID-19.
Next, we are going to take a look at some examples of the ways which some businesses have gained from the crisis, others have lost out, and crucially, how businesses started to respond to the challenges of survival, in many cases, as the economic recession emerges. Consumers are shifting their spending from in-store to online, and e-commerce presence has now become so critical for businesses just to stay afloat, and many rely on platforms like cloud-based. For instance, Shopify, which has now jumped 73% since WHO declared a pandemic in mid-March. Shopify powers sites for 1 million businesses worldwide. In terms of what retail and commerce would look like in 2030 has been pulled into 2020, and that's what happens in two ways. On the supply side, there is a tale of two completely different retail worlds. There are these archaic retailers that have been resisting change that build multi-channel as a strategy, also which they should have a strategy of selling everywhere where the consumers are, whether online or offline. On the other side, we have these resilient retailers. Some of these companies that are new to the market that have been around for a couple of years, that are very quickly pivoted and adapted, and they are succeeding. But there are also companies using e-commerce platforms like Shopify, and in a matter of a couple of days, completely changed their business model to go direct to the consumers. As some of us may know, that e-commerce as a percentage of total retail, it took about 8 years to go from 5% to 15%, and it has only taken 10 weeks to go from 15% to over 24 or 25%. To conclude, it can be seen that COVID-19 recovery will be digital, and we have this incredible catalyzing of retail and commerce that are accelerating their digital capabilities and position themselves competitively through and beyond the current crisis, and those that are not, unfortunately, being left behind.